Okay, you're not able to unmute yourself. Let's try to figure that out. Just give us a sec. Ibim, are you able to unmute? I just saw like Ibim tried to unmute.
Yeah, I'm able to unmute. I just wanted to check.
Okay. Let's start with Ibim then, and then we'll be able to figure out for the others.
All right, go ahead, please.
All right, so you're right when you say in the 2010s, Port Harcourt was known as like a dangerous, place breeded with cultism and stuff. And while that might be true to some extent, I think it's not 100% correct. One of the things that has really influenced Port Harcourt in having that reputation is because of our lingua franca. We all know that some of the pidgin that we currently speak in Port Harcourt is sort of like bridled with some form of cultism and some form of slangs that seem like they are dangerous or associated with certain cult groups. And this is what has given us that popularity in terms of like cultism. So even the average person that speaks Port Harcourt pidgin in a certain way can be associated with a certain level of violence or cultism because of that lingua franca. And this is not just common to Port Harcourt, it's common to specific areas. For example, before the emergence of Barack Obama as the president of America, Black people were also considered sort of like violent people or, a certain kind of way because of how they speak. But after the emergence of Barack Obama and the internet, picked up and everything, that lingua franca sort of like became the norm in terms of cultural appropriation by Black Americans. And now it's not seen as detrimental as it was before or associated with ghetto or gang violence like it was in America. So I think the major thing that we need to, talk about when it comes to the 2000s and now is that this language appropriation in terms of like pidgin English and how we present ourselves as Port Harcourt people, which has given us that famous look as the violent people or the cultist people and stuff, simply because of our way of life is kind of different or not understood by people from, other parts of the country, is something that, I feel like has been changing along the years, and I feel like more work can be done around that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I totally agree with you on the lingua we use. It's sometimes borderline ridiculous, but let's hear from Mr. Yibo Koko at this time. I think he's ready to speak.
Okay, yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so I don't know if I want to Ibim's perspective on the language or just that the truth of the matter was that there was just called people everywhere, actually. So one of the things about Port Harcourt or River State, is that we tend to like to talk and write things, what's the things happening, especially the bad things. And those things you write aggregates the negative algorithm on a regular basis anyway. So you go to the water side, is either the Diobu Debam or is the this land or that land, So when that happened within that same period, and that populated the conversation of violence, prior to Amechi's period up until 2010, and then when I started doing Canary, I think they did Canary in 2010, 8, 9, 10. So it had, reduced a bit, but the highest denominator in cultural activities became very high in 2010 because all the guys that were in the creeks or in the ghettos with their guns or whatever, they don't tire. They all came out en masse when Canary Reef came about until they disappeared again. So that story is the fact that our people tell the kind of stories that then things say it make them feel okay. But the algorithm, they pick consistently. So whether or not the pidgin slang or it is just the way that we are, we don't know the right way to tell the kind of stories that sells ourselves. So if Ibim is doing it, it's on an individual basis. If I'm doing it, it's on that individual basis. If Wikina is doing it, it's on individual. If Tonye is doing it, it's on an individual basis. But the organic telling of everyone is slanted towards cult, and then, of course, politics that has shown some level of violence. So the question is, are we still there? While cultism is not exactly what it used to be, politics has taken over from what the cultism looked like, because of the way then they behave. So the conversations again is that it's a merry-go-round within a certain kind of people. So even in the public media, the social media reps of the political parties still control bile conversations. So once we get bile conversations, the algorithm, they pick those bile conversations so that even when the town is safe, the algorithm shows that it is unsafe because of how we tell the stories. When I go talk more, but I mean, that's the perspective here.
Okay, all right. ThankGod, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I can.
Yeah. Okay, great. I want to toe the line of what Ibim and Mr. Yibo has said as well. I agree with their thoughts. One of the things that I feel has changed to some extent is the fact that that perception is no longer there. But just like Mr. Yibo said, politics have taken over the day, and it has, in a way, despite the good things that is happening in Rivers State, but political information or political news seem to have taken over the media space in Port Harcourt and outside Port Harcourt. There are several things that are happening in Rivers State. One thing you both said is unity in conversation. What is that collective conversation that we are having that we, in a way, would influence the algorithm, either in the media space, either it could be in the hashtags or in the different conversations that are happening. But if you check the media space, both in Rivers State and outside Rivers State, one thing that is very prominent is politics. It's either this party is doing this party is doing that. Now we are known as a state of emergency. That's one thing that if you call Rivers State now, someone who lives outside Rivers State, that's one of the things. Oh, state of emergency state. I mean, so even despite the many things that are happening here, it's sad that we've dealt with cultism. In a way, that narrative is changing. That I mean, we are no. It pained me during the NSAS conversation where different states were having their own boxes of violence here and there, and people were saying on social media, we wait for Port Harcourt because their own. And suddenly, the kind of news that was coming out from Port Harcourt, Asawana, and all those kind of stuff, so it already gives that kind of cultism. It gives that perception that, I mean, these guys, their own is going to be more violent than we are seeing from other states. But from there are different things happening in different states. There are violence happening in different states. Lagos, I don't feel safe in Lagos. Even in Abuja, if I go to Abuja, I don't come out because of the level of kidnapping, violence. Somebody can just rob you on the road. I mean, it's not safe in Abuja, but how have they been able to manage that kind of conversation? I feel we have not been fair to ourselves, even in Rivers State, in how we have managed information in the media space, in the public space. So there needs to be that unity in conversation in what we are saying, what we are projecting. And lastly, just like Mr. Yibo also mentioned, that the political media thugs, if I'll call them that, I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, what they populate in the media space, and they have the numbers, really. They have the numbers. So what they populate out there in the media space is about politics, is about one political issue here and there, but they're not talking about any other thing. So that's what will fill the media space. So in as much as I agree that the aspect of cultism has changed, we are no longer tagged in that manner to some extent, right? However, we are known for bad politics right now, right? It's not only River State that have oppositions, there are other states, but it just happens and it's gone. But River State would last since democracy. We've not had peace. We've not rested in this state. It's just been one political issue or the other. So thank you. That's my take.
All right. I'm sure for someone like Nonso, who is in the events space, this would have been a big issue for him. So I would like to hear what you have to say on this, Mr. Nonso.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm also going to ride on what Ibim, Yibo, and ThankGod have said. Looking at everything they've said, I would say a few years back, or let me say between 2008 to 2010, I think before I even got into university, what was on my Facebook timeline, especially Facebook, because I like using Facebook as an example, because I think that is where we have more users, yeah, in the space. So on Facebook timeline there, most of the things that you'll be seeing is the whole cultism, and that's just what you'll be seeing. And then I can remember when we were in school then, when this whole Alu 14 happened. I know how the Alu 4 was like the talk of the whole Nigeria. Oh, Port Harcourt is not safe. Everybody, Alu 4, all the blogs were carrying it. Now, we passed that era. The next thing I seen on our Facebook timeline was, oh, two cultists is dead at Rumukuta. One, they just killed one, this place. They killed this one at Omoma. They killed this one. So you just notice that that trend was what was on Facebook then. Then after that, the next thing I seen, if you open Facebook even till today, what you will seeing is politics, how they are hailing one chairman or they are hailing one local government. You get, so the only thing that you just be seeing on timeline is on Facebook timeline is just politics, everything that has to do with River State right now. The only time you can see something clean is maybe when you enter. Hello, I don't know if you can hear me.
I hear you now.
Yes, so when you enter X, so we've moved from cultism, just like you said, to politics. And on the art and culture space, whenever you're playing with the word politics, it affects a lot, because if you, let's say, just like what's happening now, you get, we've been planning for over a year now, and 3 weeks ago they announced local government election. You get, it has disturbed our entire plan. For example, like, it has disturbed everything. What the sponsors are saying is, Port Harcourt. Some of them are saying, oh, we did not plan. And we're telling them, no, they just announced this July ending. So you have a whole lot of back and forth to do. I can remember 3 years ago when one of my sponsors, they came to town and they were hugging me. I was asking, why people hugging me? The guy told me in 2016, they had a star event in Port Harcourt and they broke their manager's head from Lagos. You get, it was not like, oh, that coming back after how many years, he's seen how sane the event space is and all those things. You get, so there's a whole lot of things that we need to do. And on the other hand, again, the new generation bloggers that we have in River State, most of them, they need to be, I won't call it, they need to be training around the kind of things that they post. If somebody just dying now, immediately everybody will carry it, everybody will start posting it. You understand? Every negative thing that you just see, immediately they just carry it immediately. Even the way they carry the state of emergency news. You understand? Just like, you see some people on Facebook posting, oh, military people are coming into town. Oh, that you just change different things. I was in Lagos when that thing happened. And someone had told me, you're going back to Port Harcourt. I say, yes, now. Port Harcourt, I'm going back to PH. He said, we had military have taken over the states. The way it was, you now see some people bringing out videos of when military are leaving government house. They now fall say, River State is really in trouble. Those kind of news is very wrong. You understand? The way they just carry those things and they just put, once those people in Abuja, Lagos, even outside Port Harcourt, they see it, it's a problem. And you're already defacing the face of River State. So I think that's all I have to say about it.
All right. I left Tonye for last on this question because she's sort of like an unofficial image maker for the state. So her perspective is quite going. I expect it to be different. So let's hear you, Tonye.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what I think is the issue in River State is that we don't have a controlled media. So a lot of people are not quite conversant with the fact that whatever we put online, whatever we say online, either as joke or it's true, counts as one of the things that is picked online as search engine optimization. So I think as everybody has said, the culture here of we are quick to pick out bad things in the name of we're trying to what you think you're trying to make that they're trying to hit on the other party, but you don't know that what they are posting online is what is being picked by is being picked online. I use it as an example. I've never been to India, but here's the dirtiest place in the world. But you see how they portray their culture through movies, through Bollywood movies. But right here in Rivers State, we are quick to put out unnecessary things online in the name of political banter. um I was privy to a few statistics a few years ago where I heard that River State is like one of the highest consumers of Heineken. But guess what? When they brought the ambassador Jaidena to Nigeria, what they did was they took Jaidena to Abuja, they took Jaidena to Lagos, but they did not bring Jaidena to Port Harcourt. Reason because what they had picked up, what we had been saying online in River State, and it was termed and tagged as a red light zone. So for me, what I like to say is every one of us are guilty of this because of we don't know that everything we put online shouldn't be online. Like Nonso said, bloggers too are one of it. Like I told somebody, everybody now is a blogger and a content creator. What do we do with our content? We are quick to put out the bad things and so I think what we need to do is we need to have a controlled media and we need to start educating people on how everything you say online has a digital footprint. Nothing just happens online. Anything you say online has is being recorded online and used as a search engine optimization for River State. Thank you very much.
Going so far. We'll just keep going through it so we can wrap up quickly. So I'll go back to Mr. Yibo Koko. Before we ask you about Seki culture, we would like to know what your experience was like leading the River State Tourism Development Agency. Are there any initiatives you led that you are proud of right now?
Sorry again. Like I told the chap who met me, I said, normally, when you have, my job is to basically do a wrap of Nonso, Tonye. I know we speak before them. I know say they do a matter of respect. Let them talk, then I will do an overview. Is that okay?
Sorry, I didn't get you. What did you say?
I said, like I told the chap that got me involved, let Tonye, Nonso, Ibim talk. I will do the overview than for me to start.
Okay. If you want it that way, why not? So that question was directed. So, Nonso, you're also one of the people championing the new face of Port Harcourt by using Bole, our cultural street food, and to bring people together. What has this experience been so far, and what has your experience been so far in organizing this event festival annually? How has it been for you, and what have you learned, and how can you, what can you see the potential of the industry being like?
Okay. So I'll start by saying the experience has been great, but starting if I start giving the story, it has not been an easy one. But we've always gotten good collaborations from people. We've gotten good support, and when we started, at the time when we started Bole Festival, the vision we had was not what it is now. When you start growing a brand, there's a lot of things you will see, the acceptance. So we got acceptance very early. And with that acceptance, we decided, we started shaping the way we wanted people to see how the event was going to run. And I know how, when we started that time, I think now second year, a lot of people came, oh, come and do it in Lagos, come and do it in Abuja, come and do it in Asaba. come and do it here. And we knew that Bole was already a thing, like it was for Port Harcourt. You understand? And we told ourselves then that no, we are going to grow this brand here in Port Harcourt. We're not looking at whether somebody is giving us money or anything. With the challenges, we had a lot of challenges when it comes to government, when it comes to support, when it comes to the venue we wanted to use, when it comes, like we had a lot of challenges with plenty things, but we told ourselves, no matter what was to happen, we're going to do this thing here. We've had times when sponsors had to pull out from our event. They had to pull out because they said we are not serious, that we had to, why are we changing our venue? You understand? But they don't know that, oh, this is a venue that maybe government approved for us, and a week to the event, they'll say, oh, no, we can't use here. You know, all those kind of challenges are things that we faced growing up. But in all these things, what we doing? We are building a community that I would say, as at now, we have a community of over 30,000 people who show up at least in the past 2 years. There are also these 30,000 people are people that have grown this festival to what it is right now. So I know several times when we meet Yibo Koko and he will tell us, we need to do this way. If we don't do it, because he has seen, I think Yibo has seen it all, whether it's government, from Canary, the Yibo has seen it all everywhere. So whenever we have issues, always go and meet him and he will tell us, oh, we should relax, or we should push it to this time, or we should, like, he always give that strong advice that you know that, oh, by the time you finish listening to him, you just go and sit down and shaping everything you need to do. But in all these things I've said, what Bole Festival have succeeded in doing in the past 2 years, where this year is our 9th year, but in the past 2 years, we've created a lot of buzz around the culture, the food, the kind of like the music that the event is going to do, and we've built a strong tourism appeal for the states. Last year, we noticed that even we as a team, when we wanted to book hotels for people that whenever we go, they say, oh, someone has booked the hotel a month before, 2 months before. So you just find out that hotels are fully booked. Airbnbs, that the shortlets are gone. You understand? Flights safe to Port Harcourt that period. You just, when you check, you just say, 2 seats, 3 seats. That's what we noticed last year. And this year we decided to do things early just to make sure that we are able to capture that tourism part of what we are doing. And now we're also faced with another challenge. The challenge we are faced with right now is the fact that most of the sponsors that we have, they've already booked their flights. So it means that everybody's going to change their flight tickets. The attendees that are coming, they're going to change their flights. They're going to change their flight tickets. Some people have booked hotel. What if people have booked the hotel for the next week? And some of these hotels, they have a no refund policy. So it means that they will have to use another money, book another place, and the hotel will tell them, oh, maybe they will give them a particular amount back, or maybe later. So sorry, my head have been scattered this few periods, so I'm just trying to just tell you most of what my own what we're just facing this period right now. So the way the event is, we might even move the event just so that you know, and that decision might come in by Monday. So I think that's it for me.
All right. It's crazy how the state of emergency and the political landscape can affect how the planning of events and our cultural space. Also, you're well-traveled. You've observed festivals in other African countries. You've seen the economic potential they have, like I asked earlier. So what can we do better as a state to leverage the tourism potential of Bole Festival and probably any other one that might come up?
So there is a lot of things, like I know when I discussed with Uncle Yibo, when he was still the DG, there's a lot of plans that, because he's well traveled, he had on board. But I know that back then, it's just because of the way the government was moving and the rest. If those plans were successfully executed, I can bet you, because the with most of the events I've worked with in the UK, that particular structure that Yibo had is what can change this entire tourism space. The truth is, no matter anything that we want to do, we still need the government support. The role that Yibo was playing, that particular role needed to be funded majorly. Once it is funded, a whole lot of things will just be on autopilot. People that have their events, they just have to go through that calendar, you understand, move, and you just find out that things will just start moving well. I'm sure in a proper space, maybe when my head is not clouded and the rest, we'll be able to talk critically on these things and touch points on all of them one by one. So
All right.
thank you.
All right. No problem. Don't worry. Everything will work out as planned going forward once River State is settled. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're trying to draft out a vision for the state so that in the next 25 years or before then, we'll have a settled and balanced state that everything can work well. So thank you once more for your response. Tonye, this for you. A lot of the perception we spoke about earlier at Port Harcourt also comes from the media content that people digest. You've spoken a bit about it, especially on social media. How can influencers and digital brands work to position Port Harcourt as a go-to destination? What are you doing through PH and Pictures?
Okay, so thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I think we need to have like a mindset shift. And we need to understand that Port Harcourt City is our own, and this is where we are. I don't know about any other person, but I knew that when I made the decision to move back to move to Rivers State 9 years ago, I knew what I wanted. When I decided to move, when I googled and I checked, I mean, my friends were even like, "Tell what I'm going to do back," because when we actually googled Port Harcourt, all you see is militancy, bunkering, all spillage and all. And then I made that decision by myself without anybody cajoling me to change the narrative. So I think first of all we need to have a mindset shift. Once we understand that Port Harcourt City is our own, I think we would now treat it better. Secondly, we need to know most people don't understand that investors are running away from Port Harcourt City. But thank God in the last 2-3 years, we are seeing an influx of more investors. But as at 4-5 years ago, investors were running away because of what was being churned online daily. So I think first of all, we need a mindset shift. Secondly, we need to understand that this is our own port, this is our city. I like to refer to things that I've heard. I heard that a few years ago, people used to come to Rivers State to enjoy. People from Abuja or where like Rivers State was like an enjoyment city. So we need to understand that we're the ones who are going to change. We're going to take Rivers State back to its garden city status. We're going to take Port Harcourt back to its garden city status. And it starts with first mindset. Secondly, what we see and what we turn out online. I'm somebody who likes to see the good in everything that happens. We also need to see the good. How quick are you to post the policeman who is doing his traffic warding job better? How quick are you to post or to post that waiter who served you well? Why are we not quick to put out the positives? Why do we keep pushing out only negative things? So once you have a mindset, we now know why we're important. Because for me, I'm here for business, and I know that if I don't treat this city like it's just like you're accepting a visitor and then your sitting room is not welcome. We need to understand that after having a mindset, we also need to understand that what we churn out daily, our words, our spoken words also have a very have like a very big effect on how this city is being portrayed. So second, we also need to post and put out good things. One thing that is lacking in Port Harcourt is that we're not too social media. What's the word? We don't churn out. We churn out only like we're not quick to churn out the good things, and I think that is where controlling the media comes in. I like what Ebenezer is doing with the Rivers 2050. We need to start changing people's mindset and churning out only good things. For me, my platform, what we try to do is that whatever is happening in Rivers State, we promote only the good things. We know why. We know we've been able, we were also able to discover why we're in business, what we're doing as Port Harcourt Pictures, and who we want people to think we are. So first of all, we are Port Harcourt Pictures. We realize that anything we put must be good about Port Harcourt City. So be it an infrastructure, be it a business, be it the food, be it the culture, the first thing is that we know that we're supposed to churn out good things about Port Harcourt City regardless. Secondly, we also educate people on Port Harcourt City. So most of the time, thanks to most of the people who look out for us, we get information about River State. We put it out because most people don't even know why. We tell you why when history about Port Harcourt City, our governors, our food, our culture. That's also one of the ways we've been able to make sure that we're preserving the history and culture of River State. So we make sure we're churning out content about Port Harcourt. We're giving you history, and then we're also posting. We've also what we started, I would say that as a blog on Instagram, but now we've been able to diversify and move into content creation and influences. So what we do is we basically promote brands, businesses, culture, and even churn out daily history about Port Harcourt. So I think for us, that's what we've been able to do. And in a few years from now, we're looking at setting up a full-fledged media brand just to interview and talk about Port Harcourt businesses and brands. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for expanding on it. Thank you very much. Mr. ThankGod, you've been doing a good job with documenting our history as a people. So documentation of our history and story as a people is another missing piece of the cultural puzzle of River State. It's not a job that only one person can do, obviously. So tell us a bit about the work you are doing to ensure that we can have these stories documented for posterity.
All right, thank you so much. But I want to be sure, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. So for me, first, this is about passion first. And it started out as a conversation with my friend, where we were just talking about how his grandma used to translate translate in English to the colonial masters at the time. I think she understood English very well, and others didn't. So she would help them translate the language in English and all of that. So it just struck something in me. I felt like, okay, it would be good to speak with your grandmom and interview her. And that's how the idea of documenting our stories and history started. And furthermore, started making research and all of that. And some of the things that also triggered or inspired me further. The National Archives of Nigeria notes that most local government records are poorly preserved. In fact, they said that in 2018, reports showed that over 60% of Nigeria's local records are at risk of permanent loss due to lack of archiving and infrastructure. And that kind of just struck me. And one of the things, not just River State, Nigeria, I feel like archiving and documentation is a challenge. Another thing I saw online a few days ago, Mattel is a brand, it's an alcoholic brand. They just released about 3 ambassadors out there, and they were interviewing one of the ambassadors who happens to be like an Afrobeat, is one of the voices that push the culture, Afrobeat culture. And he said they went to Mattel headquarters. Mattel is about 100 years now, I can't remember exactly, but he said one of the things that struck him was the fact that Mattel documented from the first day of release, or from the first day they launched as a brand. They showed them the history of Mattel up until date and the different generations of brands that they've produced up until then. I mean, this is one thing that I see every day, and I ask myself certain questions. So one other example I will give, a few years ago, I was opportune to be in Rwanda. And one of the things that they have done is how they documented the genocide, archiving survivors' testimonies. They archived the testimonies, and it has helped for reconciliation and create global awareness. And I feel like River State can learn from this in documenting conflicts, oil pollution, and resilience. Many of us may not know, but we fought a war that lasted for years, and there were lots of killings that happened. That story will go extinct because it was not properly documented. I was fortunate to know this because my mom is from that region, and I experienced the war. I was in the village at the time to bury our grandmom when they were shooting, and we were lucky to leave the village alive because of the gunshots. And I mean, I'm not talking about all these AKE guns, actual AK-47. Where did they get these guns? And now, that story, my nephew and my nieces that they've given birth to, they don't even know anything about it. I'm not sure there is a proper documentation about that war and how that can help the next generation to avoid future occurrence of such kind of communal clash and conflict. And that is the challenge we're having, lack of documentation, lack of archiving. So that kind of inspired me to continue to push and archive. So what we are doing right now is to see how we can document our stories by speaking to notable figures from colonial, pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial era. And one of few interviews that we have done, we were able to speak with Professor E.A. Alagwa, who shared amazing stories. We sat with him for over 4 hours or thereabouts, and telling us about the history of not just River State, both Nigeria, and how Port Harcourt. He's an historian, he's a professor of history. So, I mean, you can imagine the wealth of knowledge and information that he would have. And we document sharing those stories, how Port Harcourt was even named Port Harcourt, how it started, and all of that. Beautiful stories, amazing stories, documented. And he has some books that he has also reading. We're also fortunate to speak with His Highness, His Eminence, the first administrator, governor of River State, that's Dete Spiff. We sat with him as well for about over 4 or 5 hours to speak with him about the history of Port Harcourt. He told us about, of course, the famous River State Secretariat, which is one of his projects and all of that, sharing amazing stories. So what we are doing is to document each of these stories because they are aged. Some of them are 90, he is 82 or thereabout 83 right now, Dete Spiff. And if he leaves, these stories will go extinct, apart from the ones they've written in their books, which, edited here and there, not raw, fresh. Some people wrote those books and they just did a lot of editing and all of that. But sitting, hearing first-hand narration from them and documented in video, exclusive video documentation. We believe that the next generation, for posterity's sake, when they come and they listen to some of these things, it will save us a lot of conflicts from the past, mistakes from the past. That's the idea of documenting all of this, our history. So these are the few things that we are doing here and there. We are documenting in photo form. We are documenting in writing. We are documenting in video interviews. We are documenting places, significant places. A few months ago, I was in Opopo. I had taken video recordings, pictures of the region. I've been to I've been to all the Niger Delta states, not almost. I've been to all the Niger Delta states. In the creeks, I'm not even talking about the urban region. In Delta State, I've been to all the creeks. In Bayelsa, I've been to all the creeks. I have video documentation. I have photo documentation, which was one of the things I exhibited sometime in 2023, just documenting our history. And we are still planning to talk to a lot of people, a lot of notable figures. Unfortunately, we have been trying to strike an interview with Ike Clark, his Chief Ike Clark, before he passed on. Due to his health, we were not able to speak with him. We wanted to just get a lot of information and data about that. So like I said, the archive is about pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial era. So we are still going to be talking to the now generation. This generation, we talk to people who are in the colonial era and the post-colonial era. And there are lots of them who are from this part of somebody like Bona, who falls in the post-colonial, Bona Boy, is in the post-colonial era. He's doing an amazing stuff. How we documenting his story, how we documenting his lifestyle. I visited the studio where he recorded his first album under Aristocrat. And there's the studio where he did the recording. I mean, I was so impressed that they were able to still keep it. I was just talking to them like, please, you guys shouldn't sell this place or just give it out. I know that it should be like a big tourist attraction in years to come. And people would just want to come see where Burna Boy recorded his first album. There was a beautiful art piece on the wall that shows when him and Larry were in the studio, his mom and other producers and other members of their team just in the studio and just document. It felt good to be in the studio where the African giant, who is from this state, recorded his first album. Today is a global icon. Such kind of stories can be documented. So these are the few things that we have been doing, and we hope like continue to do more. It's a collective effort. There is little that we can do. We need all hands to be on deck, everybody to support as much as possible to continue to document and archive our history. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ThankGod. Thank you very much for expanding on the work you're doing. Keep it up. We will need all of this information down the road. So thank you very much for preserving our history. We've spoken about the historical aspect of culture. We'll talk about the contemporary, present. Mr. Ibim, you have exhibited your work that depicts River State's culture all across the globe and gained a lot of accolades. How can we support artists who use their brushes and pencils as a medium to tell the story of culture as a people? And how can this contribute to achieving our tourism potential as a state?
Thank you very much, Okoma. So the first thing I would say is, before we even think about supporting artists, we have to have a mindset shift as to what art is. So here in River State, one of the challenges that we face is that we see art as, something for leisure and just aesthetics. But just like the conversation that we've all been having, we've seen that the creative industry and the art sector is something that is very, very important in terms of shifting the narrative that we have as a people, as well as documenting and preserving like Niger Delta history and culture. You get, so one of the ways that we can support artists is massive investment in the creative sector. And me personally, I'm not even speaking of government parastatals and creating bodies and organizations upon organizations, because that's what most times they just do. I think one of the most important things is making sure that we create an enabling environment for the private sector to be able to invest in creatives through proper channels. For example, I would speak on myself as an artist. A lot of people say, oh, this is your Niger Delta stories, you take it to different countries and all that. Why not do it in Port Harcourt and stuff like that? But we ask ourselves, I think there are only two like a bit standard. They're not even up to standard, but like I would say averagely standard galleries in Port Harcourt, and it will be De La Roque at the Crib Hotel and Moriri Gallery, and these galleries do not have, the clientele, the curatorial experience and certain things to have like actual exhibitions. You get, we also are going to talk about the landscape of Port Harcourt. Again, I'll refer to Uncle Yibo because I think last December he did something which was quite good. He changed the Port Harcourt landscape when it came to like decorations of our roundabouts and specific places. You get, and that was something that is good. Personally, I did the murals at the Zoo Museum in Slaughter, and some other places in Port Harcourt to sort of like change the environmental narrative to say, okay, you know what, let's use art to make these places something that tell about our culture and our identity so people can see. So one way to support artists is, massive investment in the art sector, massive investment when it comes to education and changing our landscape through, landmark projects that would, change the narrative of these things. And why I keep talking about private sector is that the government cannot, do most of these things. For example, in Lagos State, you have like, I think an 11-foot or 12-foot structure, that was sculpture that was built out of tire in front of EcoBank. And now it's like a signature stuff of, Lagos State when you're moving around the EcoBank axis. And now the 3 areas have been commissioned by, Zenith Bank and stuff to have like at their entrance and things. So we need like private sector investment, people who would say, okay, you know what, if let's say Mattel or like Tonye was saying, Heineken, they have like their own Port Harcourt branch or something, let's do something that talks about Heineken, but also maintains like River State culture and our relationship with Waterside and Keno culture and the rest of them. And this is something that I'm trying to do with my work, with the King Jaja story and documenting this, because these are stories that were taught, to us right from childhood, but a lot of people don't know about it. You get, so I think we need massive investment in the art sector for creatives, and that's the only way we can support creatives, as opposed to creating, bodies upon bodies upon bodies and just sharing money, where before it meets the actual creatives that can do the work, the money is nothing. So yeah, I think that's what I can say for now. Just leave Uncle Yibo to summarize and talk more.
Okay, there's still a few more questions I have, but at this point, before we continue, I'd like Uncle Yibo to talk because your name has been called by almost everyone that has spoken so far. I'll start with the structure Nonso talked about. I would like to know what that structure is and how it can be built upon for the future going forward. Because everyone talks about the great things you've done as a time in government and through basically just guiding them as younger fellows in the culture, in the tourism space. You've guided a lot of them. Everybody here, almost everyone here has spoken about how you've been of help and you've guided. So let's know, what is the structure they keep mentioning? What is it that you did that was so good that everyone keeps talking about, and how can we build on it for the future? Hello. I think you can't hear me now. Okay. I think he's unable to speak at this time. So, okay. So every one of you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now. Okay, yes.
Okay, so I was out. Sorry.
Okay.
Before I start, thank God.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Yes,
sir, I can hear
you.
I beg.
I'm walking up. I'll just bring
Me
this
and
down.
you. I need to talk to you on the side offline after now.
Okay, sir.
My journey with the DG. Well, I'm supposed to still be the DG. Until this, what do you call it? State of emergency. Who they talk now? Make on calm down. Make I talk finish. Everybody, try and mute yourselves. So, Gaokoma,
Yes,
for me, right. I think I would rather hang on to what Blessing is doing, what you guys are doing. And, those are the like offline conversations based on experience. But working for government, the only thing that I can say, what have I taken away? It's my first 3 years, I just discovered that my one chance I enter. Because like Ibim said, our art forms for them is just a feel-good space, Unfortunately for them, I know what I know. And the law says that the DG must be a man with proven integrity and a professional. So by God's grace, I fell within that category. So what I did immediately was to get Ernst & Young. For 6 weeks, we mapped out what River State tourism landscape will be, monetizing every tourism, cultural assets of River State. We had a revenue-based financing from 100 billion to 4 trillion to shore up the IGR of River State in that same area, with over 260,000 in quotes, job opportunities across board. Look, I know everyone go there. And these were not things that were like rocket science. They were things that, we could do. And the only thing that upset me was, if Seki is a drop of water in an ocean, the state is that ocean. And all the energy I was using to do the drop, I was putting in the ocean. And over 60 memos plus none, was even attended to. The agency didn't have any car. I come into Port Harcourt, I'm in presidential with my money. Everything we did, was just trying to get people involved, try to talk. Tonye will tell you now, how many times did I call Tonye? At the end of the day, Namigo speak grammar. Some people will assume that there was money, But we're trying to build an ecosystem, making the people understand. I was talking a lot. We got Dubai tourism in the state with 40 entities. They got into River State. We had a conversation, even to get pictures with government now. I got CNN, we went to Yorokoto. We went to Kuritan Beach, we did a survey. I got the, what do you call it? The governor of Rhodes Island, But I'm not going to talk that side. I think moving forward is where we're looking at, and like we have to plug into what Tonye is doing, what ThankGod is doing, what you guys are doing, what Ibim is doing, what Nonso is doing, what I am doing, and see how we can structure it to be more collective. Because the individual thing is something, and if all these names you've called here are people who love River State. Me, are they global? I mean, almost everybody here, they travel, they go where they go without anybody. I mean, as I speak to you, the US government came into River State in a very quiet state. The consulate, they came in. Nonso, I invited Nonso, K.O. Baba, Dise Tantwa. We met in front of Nonso's place. We had one of the most outstanding Bole. And trust me, and then they are supposed to come to Nonso's thing. We played masquerade for them. As I speak to you, some Seki people are supposed to do an exchange program next year in the States. So we're doing a lot, but because the political class and the minimum minority are the one in charge of the monies, they're not in the entrepreneurship spirit like us. They are in the political business. So everything they do is to make sure that they remain in that space. That even the social media people or people in our area will want them so much to amplify whatever it is, then they abuse. If they want to abuse 1A, then we abuse. They want to abuse 1B, then we abuse. Then at the end of the day, the algorithm of AB abuse is what they judge me and you by. So how would they know that there is the biggest festival in this part is happening at the end of the month of August that is consistent, and they're putting a local government election there? Because at the end of the day, it's about what they want, how they can fall within that space before they bring back the governor. So with the statistics of what do you call it, Lagos and the dirty December. Now, don't forget that all the flights that come into Nigeria, most stop over in Lagos. So during December, people going more to the east, which is where everybody's going to, but they stop over in Lagos, then take flights to Owerri, Asaba, Port Harcourt, River State. So Lagos picks up the block number of those who come in. Then Port Harcourt picked up because there were more people who got into River State in December last year, more than they had done in 9.5 years. So we got a letter from CNN, and then we were just at the verge, just few days for us to get an approval to announce Canny Reef for 2025. Because the idea was that small thing being mentioned that we did on the road showed that the diaspora and a lot of people, there were more cultural displays in Opobo, Boni, Buguma, Isiokpo, Bakana, Degema, than they had happened in the past 11, 12 years. We had that data. So we said we're going to form and say we do dirty heritage. So the word is heritage. Heritage December. Starting with August or October, even no, so me I will talk later. We will talk something later. Because Bole Festival, when also they take 30,000 in the joke, me I don't go with 150,000 on in behalf for where they talk. Because then they talk about the cluster, me I they talk about the trend of those when they talk. I got those data on the right track. So I am so enthused with what Wikina is doing. And I think I could talk more offline, because the creative space in 2022 had $1.3 trillion as income. Africa got only 58 million from that space. Nigeria was not in the top 10 in Africa. Because our naira is bad now. So if you have 1 billion naira, convert them to dollar, how much is that? You understand where I'm coming from? Why is Netflix out? I shot a movie since I see because the amount of money I was to make from Netflix, they're gone. Why did they go? Because as much as people who get things to subscribe, when you subscribe, how many hundreds of people, when they convert them to dollar, nothing. But River State is our state. It's the microcosm. River State is the place. Our diversity, which is our being, is also our strength. And that's why the vision must be clear with what you guys are doing. I mean, you must have town halls, like Tonye has said. We don't have a controlled media. We try to do that. Come into Port Harcourt with the first flight, land around 7:50, 8 o'clock, and tune to the radio. The only radio station that breaks, that plays music is Classic FM. The rest, they have 90% of talk shows where bile and hate is what you have as phone-in programs. So we can get a lot to do because the political class don't show, say, no matter what you do. Now, when you did local government man, you be government man, that money, now good money. And even when they build their hotels with the money, who are those staying in the hotel? Occupancy is almost nothing. But are you aware? Let me just say this. I don't know if I'm talking too much. I took a drive, guys. I took a drive at about 11:30. Okay, they're saying the language that they speak is, okay, let me speak English, no vex. So I took a drive from around 11:30, guys. From Elelewo, I drove, Elelewo, went to Slaughter, Transamadi, got to Garrison. From Garrison left, I went to that Abonima Wharf Road. Left, got into Forces Avenue about midnight. One of the best, thank God, try it. One of the best places in Port Harcourt is Old GRA in the night. And Esticoli, you know those places where they build houses there. Go and see the quality. It makes Banana Island look like child's play. Trust me. I drove down there. Then from there, Moscow Road, the only place that, William Jumbo, Moscow Road, the police had blocked that space. So I went back to Central Bank. This was about, say, 12:30 to 1. This is about 4 months ago. That I took a drive again. You know where I got to? I went to back of the prison on Creek Road by almost 1:40 something. By Nembe, like the guys were playing football. Two aside, betting. I was watching. I wish I was recording. Nobody knows this part of Port Harcourt. Nobody knows this kind of story. So let me don't seem to talk too much because I want to help the vision. One of the key things, denominators, is that we speak ill of ourselves, and without hospitality, there is no investment. What Tonye has said that back in the day, we didn't have infrastructures in terms of physical infrastructure. We had an infrastructure of a loving state where people wanted to come and serve in River State. We've lost that. Our nightlife is still active. Go to GRA. Trust me, from Casablanca, that is our data. But you don't talk about that. You don't talk about, what do you call it? Ordinary Road. We still have active nightlives, but we don't talk about it. So until we populate these conversations again, then we can drive an algorithm. And like Tony said, if we can control media, and maybe, just maybe, if next month the governor comes back and we are back into the system, we're going to all hands on deck to see that we populate the conversations that we make every other state want to come back to our state, because our culture is the essence of what makes us, what we are beyond the structures that are in Lagos. Thank you. Sorry, my sisters, I don't talk too much.
Please, before you stop, I just want to ask one more thing. We're always talking where what do we call it? A riverine coastal state, basically. So we have access to the water, and think of places like Miami, think of places like what we call it again, Los Angeles or California, basically. All these coastal states, they make use of the water, and you can see how the tourism, even Lagos here, Lagos, yes. they're making good use of their water. So what is it with River State? Why are we different? How can we change that?
Okay, so the
although
same.
these days, Andoni keeps coming up in the conversation.
Okay, okay, so let me help you again. The thing is that no man is an island. It's a collective responsibility. It's collaboration. And like I said, being the DG was more of, I'm from River State. I was doing very well with Seki. I'm doing very well with Seki. And I actually want to go back to do well with Seki. I can, in fact, now what I want to do now, sorry. Because it was like being DG in a bad market, But let me just give you an insight, like we agreed this year. These are the plans we had. So have dry season and rainy season. So what we planned was that after going to visit Yorokoto, we went with CNN, like I said. So we said, we're going to do something. In Uniport, that's what we used to say, when I used to tell jokes, we had the Vaseline card. I would say, if you want my love, take me to the crab. So we had with the tour people, this member lady. So we have the tour groups, Scal. I'd spoken to them. We agreed on things to do. So the idea was every weekend, we talk to the community people in Andoni. We talk to the people on the Ogoni side. So the idea is we have a bus, maybe 4, 5, 6 buses, big buses, we will get them. We make good announcement. Everybody, every evening, we get police, we talk. So the best way to do a show is to get the boys who are in charge. You know what I mean, the boys. Sort them out, go to them and talk to them. Pay them whatever. The idea is that they will mount the place. Men mount, they mount the place. But if we now get just DJ, we don't need to necessarily get a live show. We'll start that a bit. And you begin to go down to Oyorokoto, to, what do you call it? Where you just mentioned, the Kuru town. Trust me, the road is fantastic. The road is just plain go land there. Now, the whole idea was just something organic. We just drive, we start making noise, like the way we do before. Make a lot of noise. I'm not the one doing it, just we call Nonso, we call you, we call anybody, everybody, just make noise. Take your babe, go there. You want love, go there. We start with the young people. So when you drive there, the DJ is there. There's food. We call the Andoni people. Come and do food, consign us. But we want to populate a conversation where Tonye-led kind of people will look forward to every weekend, just during the dry season. So that gives us a momentum into that December. You understand where I'm coming from? So you see that there will have been a continuous board, conversations like that. It might look like it's a silly thing, but the algorithm will pick conversations. Oh, you mean you have this ocean view? Yes, they do have an ocean view. And then Bonima people will do their own. Bonny people will continue their own. But the whole idea was push everybody from Port Harcourt to the water side that is beach-like. Not tourist beach, but tourist beach is a creek. Get to those these are the things that we plan, because at the end of the day, for you to be like Miami, you must feel like Miami. So we don't feel like it. Over 80% of the people in River State don't even know that Ikuru Town Beach is the longest shoreline getting to the Atlantic, or the Oyorokoto fishing settlement is the largest in West Africa. That's why CNN came to me when I wrote that stuff. Are you aware that just 3 weeks ago, they sighted elephants there? So it's not that we don't know what to do. The problem is that the policies, even when we have generated conversations with those policies, politics is the only thing that is strong. So it is Ibim, it is me, it is Tonye, it is you that cannot populate, because from local we go global. Ibim knows that. If you do it here, it won't work. But when we do it internationally, people locally want to say, Omo, na Yibo, it's not the same dance. After all, who started dance? Or me, I had nothing to do during COVID. I started dancing. Now everybody dances. Our culture is conversed. That's the whole idea. That is the whole idea. So that's why the Vision 2020, it must be youth friendly. You must do town hall conversations. It might look, and then please take this. The National Orientation Agency is one big place most people neglect. Let me advise you people, those guys are fantastic. Trust me, and they have people in every local government area. We are about working with them. And then, Mr. Wokoma, it's not that we don't know that we can turn the place to Miami. The truth of the matter is that the negative conversations of piracy on the seas and the boys who hold on to the creek spaces, we started again to say, let us do Boba job, everybody pick away. So from Nembe water side to Krika water side, to Marine Base water side, to every water side. The idea was that we had gone to talk to those Chinese people for Transamadi. We pay the boys there they do debris cleaning. So for 6 months, their job was, we bring, what do you call these things? The drag nets. When the water is going, they are dragging out the plastics and everything there. So we're going to be documenting it. As you document, you put it out. People are seeing that we're cleaning the environment in good. We're not talking about oil. You see that when you do that for like 6 months, we'll reduce the plastics by that side, and it becomes a conversation for international people to come and talk about. But leave me alone now. It's crazy, man. This state, they give BP.
Can see your passion. We need more people like you in the state. With this kind of fire, things will happen.
It will happen with what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Mr. Ibim, so basically this is to all the panelists. Mr. Ibim, so let me start with you. If Lagos has become the go-to destination for 30 December for Africans in diaspora, Mr. Yibo has spoken a bit about it. What can Port Harcourt become the destination for?
So, like you said, I think Port Harcourt can become the destination for, cultural heritage, like Mr. Yibo has said. I think Port Harcourt can also become the destination for tourism because, I'm speaking as someone from Opobo. When I wanted to do my King Jaja project, I went to my hometown, Opobo, and I documented a lot of things. Do you know that one of the first Anglican churches ever built is currently still standing in Opobo and it was built in the 18th century. You have like buildings that dated 18th century. You have like a lot of cultural things about King Jaja, about his relationship with Boni people, how he started as a slave and then later became a king. You have the stories about the 67 war canoe houses and the rest of them. You have the boat regatta, which is an annual celebration parade, of victory. You have a lot of things, and most people don't know that in Opobo, each of the compounds and family, just like I'm from the Cookey gang family, we have our cultural colors, and each of us have like a war canoe boat, which we used to parade. So I think we can become like a culture and heritage place in Nigeria. You get another thing is just like you said, I decided to pick up golfing with ThankGod lately, and I went to the Port Harcourt Golf Club, and that was the first time, the one in Old GRA, and that was the first time I was seeing the waterside view from that area. You get, but it's bad that you have only the elites who have access to that kind of view in Port Harcourt and who get to see something like that. We have something like that in Eagle Island, but we've not been able to harness it. Meanwhile in Lagos, you have real estate companies, and you have a lot of people who have who are setting up different beaches in Lagos. You can see that when you go to Lagos, you have Wave Beach, you have Elegushi Beach, you have so many beaches. And now even the landmark beach that they closed, they moved to Enugu, and they are currently renovating the Nike Lake Resort to still have that waterfront view. So we can become a tourist destination. We have like good water views. And then I think we should stop thinking of River State as only Port Harcourt. There's Bonny is another Bonny is a massive hub for not just tourism but relaxation, and a place where people can actually just chill and have like a decent feeling. So thinking of River State in a holistic view as opposed to just Port Harcourt is another way we can do it. Also our food, we have Bole, and Nonso is doing great in Bole Festival. We have the Onunu and catfish. Recently I had the professor of Michigan State University and asked professor of Michigan State University who came all the way to Port Harcourt, to come and spend time in my studio and interact with me. And I usually have these gallerists and professors and ask people from different countries, want to meet me. And when I say I'm in Port Harcourt, they're like, because all of them are always coming to Lagos. So when I say, okay, come to Port Harcourt and experience this thing. And the guy came to the studio, and I took him to Subway to eat like abacha, and I took him to try, onunu and pepper soup, and the guy loved it. So I think, if we focus on our food, our culture, and also our landscape and harness it, we'll really, really be doing ourselves a favor, and we'll become like a very, very good destination hub. Another thing, which I think also is for the government to do is that we need to start thinking of ourselves as a modern city. How can you be driving from the airport at 8 o'clock and there's no street lights like for over like 1 hour or 2 hours? It's insane for a city. Do you get, like, people are not going to feel safe? People are not going to feel like, they are really, part of the metropolitan city and stuff like that. And these are things that are probably been budgeted, or you have people who are taking contracts to maintain these things. But, it's not there. So I think once we start thinking of ourselves as a city in terms of maintaining our culture and start providing adequate security, people will feel safe to then come and experience these things without, feeling any form of danger.
All right, Mr. Nonso, it's going to be the same question for you. So what can Lagos is to dirty December for Africans in diaspora? What can Port Harcourt become a destination for? What do you think?
Yes. So sorry, I said anything. So no, so hard to drop while Mr. Yibo was speaking, because I think he has a
okay.
house. Yeah. So
okay, all right. Okay, let me redirect to ThankGod. Same question.
Okay, you might want to take it again, please.
I said Lagos is to dirty December for Africans in diaspora. So what do you think Port Harcourt can become a destination for?
Okay, I wouldn't want to answer that question from the perspective of what Port Harcourt should be known for, because Lagos is known for dirty December, right? But I want to come from the aspect of, for the lack of a better word, branding. One of the things that I would want us to take a cue from. A few years, I visit Akwa Ibom frequently as well. There is their catchy phrase called Dakada, right? I don't know if anybody has ever heard about it and all of that. So
it's only the football club I'm aware of. Dakada
okay, so,
FC.
Yeah, so it's called Dakada. It's like the symbol has like a 5-hand. So it's like a brand. They are trying to rebrand the state in a way, just like how we are going to Lagos. There is Eko Baje. It's like a catchy phrase that is a welcome. You just know that kind of catchy phrase, right? There have been that intentional branding or that strategy in rebranding the state. Is like, so one of the ways I think Port Harcourt can get to that point where we are known for something is, just like Yibo said, it's a collective where all of us come together, right? And we pursue a common goal or a common vision. And it will start from strategically thinking, just like what policy shapers are doing with the Vision 2050, where we have a common goal that we are pursuing in terms of, it could be a brand identity for Port Harcourt that we are trying to restructure beyond for policy shapers is 2050 that cut across different sectors, right? But how do we all come together as collectives and see how we can identify something that we can all push? It will be a conversation out there that we are all pushing that would, in a way, give Port Harcourt a different phase. I want to look at it from a catchy phrase or a common goal or a brand identity that we want to use to rebrand. It's more like rebranding Port Harcourt pretty much. And it's going to take time. It's not something that will happen in 1 or 2 years. It's going to take time, but we are consistent with it. We are all speaking one language. We are all pushing that narrative. And I feel that way, it will, in a way, start attracting and start changing that negative perception that people have about Port Harcourt. If you visit some African countries or some places, even in Lagos or some other states, there is something that you can buy. And when you take it back home, they know that you got that thing from that place, right? But for Port Harcourt, for example, River State generally, what is that one thing that you can get as a souvenir when you visit Port Harcourt or River State that we are known for? Immediately you buy that thing and you leave, you say you visited Port Harcourt. Just like you visit Accra, if you go, you buy maybe one Ankara and all of that. And there are many other things that are very common. People will just say, oh, this is from Ghana. Oh, this is from Senegal. This is from this country. What is that one thing that we want to push? There is Kukrubite. There is our Akwete. There is different George that we have. There is different things. How do we I was speaking with Ibim, and we were just thinking what we can do, and something that is that would portray, once you see it, is an image that just pushes or gives that identity that this is from Port Harcourt. So I feel when we start having this kind of conversations and start pushing this narrative, it will change that different narrative. And another challenge, I consider this a challenge. See, Port Harcourt is, or Rivers State, just like Ibim said, we shouldn't limit Port Harcourt, Rivers State to just Port Harcourt. Because of our diversity in language and different cultures and all of that, I feel one way or the other, it's kind of, it limits certain, because there are many things happening. There are different cultures, there are different languages, there are different things happening here and there. So we are not able to put all of this information or all of this into one brand that would represent us as Port Harcourt. So in as much as all of these things are happening, we don't even know that they are happening. Yibo said a lot of things that I was just taking note. I didn't even know that, oh, there's this, this are happening here and there. So I feel like we all need to come together, identify something, that a common goal that we want to pursue. It could be in the form of brand identity for Port Harcourt. It could be in form of a catchy phrase. And we start pushing that narrative. And of course, in partnership with everybody and what policy shapers are doing, I'm sure that way, we should even look at short term, start looking at long term, because the truth is, it's not going to happen immediately. It's going to happen in the future. So that future starts now. So we can start all coming together and having these conversations. And I feel that will change.
All right. Thank you. Before you run off, one last thing. Just tell us, what do you envision? This is going to be your last question for this session. What is River State of your dream? What do you envision for the state over the next 25 years? I'm sure you've spoken a bit of what you've said is in it, but just need you to be specific on this.
Okay. World Bank report says that cultural heritage contributes up to 3% of GDP in some countries through heritage, tourism, and the creative industry. And Port Harcourt is one, or River State is one state that is rich in all of these. Massive culture, massive, like from the different tribes, ethnic groups that we have in River State. If we can tap just even 5% of it, I'm sure it will improve our GDP River. So I look for my dream for River State, or what I envision for River State come 2050 is I want to see a state that its cultural heritage is properly harnessed and is properly tapped, and we have people seeing us for who we are. It's our core, pretty much, right? And one of the things that I feel we can also do to see all of this happening is work with relevant stakeholders, relevant bodies, from trying to see how all of that can change. So I look forward to a River State that has a strong tourism industry that attracts people all over the world to come and see what we have here. Just like, the statistics you read during the introduction, like everybody goes to Dubai, and the millions of people that are going to Dubai. So I look forward to that time where River State will become one of the states, and not just states, one of the places people all over the world will come and enjoy our rich cultural heritage.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much. So Tonye, I'll have the same question for you. So what do you envision for the state over the next 25 years? What's the River State of your dream?
Okay, so thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so
Wow.
how Lagos State has been able to monetize their waterways, and our own is just lying fallow. I can vividly recall when I first moved to River State, I think 2 years after, because when I was in Lagos, on my birthdays, I go for boat rides. And then 2 years after, I wanted to go on a boat ride. And I wanted to do a photo shoot, my birthday photo shoot on a boat. And I know I spent over a month looking for a boat in River State. They kept calling people, calling private organizations, she needs a boat, She needs. Everybody said, and I'm like, how can the whole River State not have boats? In fact, when I dogged, I still found a way. I think I got somebody who now gave me a boat at the beach. And when I wanted to go there, people were telling me, "Okay, don't go there, don't go there." So I think first of all, we need to start engaging the government, because I know the private sector cannot do this alone. We need to start making sure that they know that we mean business now. It's beyond politics now. They need to know that they need to take River State here. We need to start more private government conversation. We need to start engaging them, and I can't do it by myself, but I think I like what policy shapers are doing. We need to start calling them out and holding them accountable. That they need to they need to build this River State. Enough. I mean, it's appalling that we do not have a thriving beach. Thank God for Andoni. If I didn't went to Andoni, I was even afraid. But guess what? It was a peaceful place. Rather, yes, I'm surprised that since this taken over. I'm sorry, I'm a bit delving into politics. Since it's taken over by the sole administrator, I've not seen one thing that has been done, like no new project, no nothing, and everybody's keeping quiet, nobody's holding them accountable. I could have done that on my platform, but I remember when I came to this state, I used to be very loud, but it made people hate me because I was holding people accountable for things. But I'm like, okay, fine, take a seat back, and I remember that in this city, women don't actually talk, or rather, they're not allowed to talk or make some certain conversations. So I'm like, what? I know that some people have done underground work in telling these stories, but I noticed that most of us here in River State I don't know if I should use the word humble. We have a lot of documentation, but we're not churning out this content online, forgetting that your digital footprint is actually more important than this hidden stories that we have. We need to start churning out more content online, because we hiding this government accountable. We need to start collaborating with them, giving them ideas. And I would also appeal to policy shapers to please conversations. Can we move it from Zoom to actually physical conversations where we have people, where we have let people talk? Or can we be doing this like every month, so that it's in the heads and minds of people. Let them know that there's a new set of rivers, people who want to change the narrative. We're going beyond politics, we're going beyond small talk. Now we want to engage in thought-provoking conversations and all. Then I would also, as regards collaboration too, I don't know, I would love you guys to, at least we're having one of the biggest festivals coming. I would like you guys to like probably have a stand and all. For a long time I used to travel for social media week in Lagos, and I see like it's not only people who sell products that come for those exhibitions. Like for instance, TG can have a stand and let people come and have like watch short clips of his interview or his finding. Like this interview with the first governor with the governor, the HSP. Most people don't even know that. There was a day I did a poll about governors of Rivers State, and nobody even knows that the HSP was one of the governors of Rivers State. So if you can have like short clips, showcases at the festival or any other big gathering, let people know these things. Let me these Gen Zs don't know anything about Port Harcourt or River State, and I'm sure if you guys are looking on my page now. I'm transitioning slowly from telling stories of history. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. Where did I stop? Where did I stop? I don't even know why I stopped.
Talking
Okay,
about
anyway.
Gen Z not knowing anything
So
about
I feel
our
like
history,
even policy
how you're
shapers,
transitioning.
I don't know how far policy shapers have gone. If you can have a stand there and get like your foot soldiers to come and actually engage the youth then.
Okay. Wow.
Even if
Your
it's share,
connections.
even if can you hear me now? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, let me just wrap up. Let me just wrap up. So I think that we should also take these things to the roads, to the streets, to the festival. Let them know that okay, this is this and this and this is what's happening. So for me, I think first of all we need to engage engage stakeholders and government radically. We're not more radically. Secondly, we need to do more collaboration. And then we also need to do more spotlight on our stories. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tonye. Mr. Ibim, so what's the river state of your dream over the next 25 years? What do you see?
So the river state of my dream will be a river state where we would no longer be having political conversations in the creative sector, because the creative sector will be vibrant enough to sustain itself to private collaborations and private investments. The river state of my dream will be the river state that is safe enough, where whoever I'm bringing into the country for whatever reasons, I would not have to carry police escorts and hire, people to protect them before I'm moving around in the night. The river state of my dream will be the river state where young creatives can stay and have a fulfilling career without thinking of migrating to Lagos or some other states for better opportunities, because everything they need to grow and thrive, will be here. The river state of my dream is a river state where people can hold festivals and organize, different events, also shoot movies here without being harassed by anyone, or, without leaning towards any political inclinations and stuff. The river state of my dream will be the river state where, whether it is streaming or whether it is social media or anything, people would have a positive image of Port Harcourt, and young people will not think that they need to wear polo or belong to any political factions to be able to survive or put food on their table. So that is what I think the river state of my dream will be in the next couple of years.
Thank you very much. So finally, we'll wrap up with Mr. Yibo. Koko. Please tell us what the river state of your dream is. What do you envision for the state over the next 25 years?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so before I take on my dream of River State, which of course I lean towards Ibim, more of what are we doing, for December? What are we going to do? The word is heritage, So organically, whether it's government or not, our communities are go with the activities in the villages. That is for sure. Who is keeping tab with information on what is happening in Opobo, Bone, Degema, Buguma, Abonema, Bakana, you understand me, or Bakre, who is doing that? So if we can, this is what the agency wanted to do. And going to reference ThankGod's River State conversation is that Port Harcourt, Lagos, Calabar, Enugu were hubs for Europeans when they came in, right? Then going forward, Lagos became the capital of Nigeria. Port Harcourt became the capital of River State. Calabar became capital of Cross River. Enugu became capital of Anambra State. So naturally, the conversation is always Port Harcourt, Lagos, Calabar, and Enugu. Before, you understand, Lagos became Lagos without the Nigeria and Abuja went over. So most times people talk about Port Harcourt, not because it's Port Harcourt, but because it's Port Harcourt. I don't know if you know where I'm coming from. So Port Harcourt epitomizes River State by one talk. It's not because it's Degema or Boni, no, it's just because Port Harcourt comes quick because that is where it all started. So, but going forward, heritage means that the Dirty December or the Heritage December that we had planned to do, like I said, was something that we'll look at what next month, looks like. And then we will continue, either at Seki brand, because I can tell you, Okoma, what we're going to do with Seki, you're going to know. That's why I was talking to ThankGod. But the River State of my dream, as you see that, I don't come from anywhere, I come from River State, is where these scoundrels who take charge of the political class can have sense enough to know that the creative economy, tourism, hospitality is the strength of making River State a destination. name, my state, my home. I won't be there, but it is a go-to place in Africa, not just West Africa. You know, everything that we have, if we have the right kind of leadership to make the state the destination for mankind.
All right, thank you to everyone. It's been such the conversation has been twice better than we planned it out. We thought it would be, and we spent twice the scheduled time already. So I'm going to hand over to Ebenezer at this time to say the final words before we let you all go. Thank you for staying with us.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Uncle Yibo, and thanks TG, Ibim, Tonye, Nonso, and everyone else who's been engaging in the chats. I mean, these are the people who I call the cultural ambassadors of River States. You know, I feel like this conversation would have happened and would have been complete without having all of you here. So thank you so much for sharing the work that you've been doing. Thank you for the ideas that you've shared as well. Uncle Yibo, yes, we'll continue to engage you. And as Tonye said, we don't plan for because this is not all of River State. This is not even 0.5% of River State. You know, the people are in the streets, right? And there's so much plans for the next phase of this project to be able to host town hall conversations within the various local government areas and also engage people within in the universities. We're already starting collaborations with ISEC and the various school institutions and school clubs and stuff to be able to engage young people in the universities. A lot needs to happen, right? I fully agree with you that we need to connect with government. I think just hearing Uncle Yibo's experience, I'm also motivated, you know, that we had someone who has built an amazing career and got into that space, and despite the challenges that he faced, you know, we can still hear the fire in Uncle Yibo's voice. They were not able to kill your zeal and kill your fire, and we hope that fire will continue, and that we'll all be able to work together across the various sectors. We've done sports now, we've done culture and tourism, we'll do health, education, all of these things. We'll all be able to work together to ensure that the lost glory of our state will be restored, and that we would even do better, not just for ourselves, but even for our own children and the generations to come. So thanks a lot. We'll keep you posted on the Rivers 2050 Vision book, and you all get a copy of the book once the book is ready. And we'll also let you know what the plans are to launch it as well next year. So thanks everyone for your time, and thanks as well to our rapporteur, Lesson, who has been working hard to collate all the wonderful insights from the session. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and thanks Sanity. Amazing moderation.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.